SQ Plus is everything that's made SQ one of the most popular mixers in the world today. So we have a new design, we have more power per channel, and we also have RackUltra FX. Hi, I'm Keith from Allen & Heath, and we're here today to look at the SQ Plus. With SQ Plus, we're introducing 3 new models into the SQ series: the SQ5 Plus, SQ6 Plus, and SQ7 Plus. These are the same frame sizes as the original SQ5, 6, and 7, so a 16 fader, 24 fader, and 32 fader, and we're going to dive in on the SQ7 Plus to take a closer look. All SQs run an XCVI core. This is 96K processing with a huge host of benefits, including variable bit depth up to 96 bit, phase coherent mixes, and an ultra low latency of less than 0.7 milliseconds. SQ is a 48 input digital console with the left-right mix plus 12 stereo or mono groups or auxes, and 4 dedicated effect sends for the standard effects. And with the SQ Plus, you also get 4 dedicated RackUltra FX sends, which we'll get onto in a bit. All input channels have a full suite of processing: a high-pass filter, a gate, and now an expander, an insert point, which is freely patchable, a PEQ, and a compressor. All mixes also feature a freely patchable insert point, a graphic EQ, a PEQ, and a compressor. And there are also 6 matrix mixes, which can be fed from any of the other mixes, and they can also be linked up for stereo use. If you're familiar with the SQ series, you probably knew all of that, but you will also have noticed that there's a few differences here in the look of things. So everything is very much laid out in the same way, but we have updated the artwork here. We've gone for a new dark look and a matte finish, so you don't get any reflections in sunlight. And most strikingly, we've gone much bigger and bolder on the screen and GUI. So SQ Plus features a 9-inch touchscreen, and every single page of this GUI has been revisited and redesigned with improvements to workflow and obviously the dark mode look. We've brought in popular features from our Q range, including with the strip assign, where you can completely clear a layer, you can add channels sequentially with the +1, and you can even set default to get you back to a known position. In the meter screen, we've given you an overview of all channels at once with the ability to dive in if you need more detail. And in the I/O screen, we've added new quick patch options and also colored patch blocks that allow you to see where you've patched very quickly and easily. Like all of our XCVI digital mixers, SQ has the ability to run deep processing. This is processing that runs directly in the channel and can be used on any or all input channels and mixes at once. In SQ Plus, we've added more power per channel, allowing SQ Plus to run the latest deep algorithms, including the source expander, the dual threshold expander, and the long-awaited comp distortion model from our Avantis and D-Live systems. But the major addition to the SQ Plus line is that we've built in the hardware to run RackUltra FX. Just like the original SQ, there are 8 standard or RackExtra FX slots, and you can use these as you like for reverbs, delays, and modulation, as well as some special add-on processing like multiband compressors and dynamic EQs. And then separately, we have the RackUltra FX slots. So SQ Plus has 4 of these, and these can be used to run the standard or RackExtra FX if you like, or optionally, you can add in RackUltra FX. Originally developed for our flagship D-Live range, RackUltra FX is a suite of high-end processing that includes 3 main sections. So there's a vocal tuner with near real-time pitch correction that sounds very natural, the vocal gridder, which sounds quite unnatural, but it's also used for pitch correction. There's the vocal shifter with formant shifting as well, so you can have natural sounding vocal shifting and make a voice sound older or younger. And then there's 2 harmonizers, a dual auto key harmonizer and a quad harmonizer. When it comes to reverbs, RackUltra FX has 2 main types. The Spaces Reverb Designer emulates a real space. It gives you control over that space and also the echoes and early reflections in it. And then we have the Plate Reverb Designer. This is less about designing a space and more about creating a beautiful sounding reverb. It emulates all kinds of different plates and materials for that classic reverb effect sound. And for SQ Plus, we're introducing some essentials as well. So the essential spaces, we have an essential spaces hall and an essential spaces rooms. And we also have an essential plate and an essential plate vocal. And the third type of RackUltra FX is with saturation and distortion. And obviously the SQ series, as with all of our consoles, is very clean, but sometimes you want to dirty things up a little bit. So with saturator, you have 5 types of saturation. You have 2 valve or tube, depending on which side of the pond you're from, 2 transistor, and 1 tape. Again, with saturator, we've got an essential model available, the essential saturator, with a very simple to use drive control, bias switch, and tilt EQ. Then amp and cab offers you modeling built directly into your console. For example, if you want to DI a bass or guitar. This offers separately switchable models of amp type and cabinet simulation, and you can even run a classic distortion pedal if you like. But these 4 RackUltra FX slots can also run the standard or RackExtra effects. So with SQ Plus, you get 12 total effects engines. All of these effects engines have dedicated stereo returns and PEQs, so you don't need to use up any of your input channels or mixes whilst using them. There are 4 effects sends to the standard effects units, and there are 4 new RackUltra effects sends for the RackUltra effects units. All of the effects units can also be used inserted if you wish. So when it comes to getting signals into these input channels and out of the mixes, there's a lot of connectivity options with SQ. There's local I/O, so the SQ5 Plus has got 16 mic or line preamps, plus a talkback input that can be patched anywhere, 12 line outputs on XLR. The SQ6 Plus has 24 mic or line preamps, plus the talkback, and 14 XLR line outputs. And the SQ7 Plus has 32 mic or line preamps, plus that talkback, and 16 XLR line outputs. All SQ models include our intelligent S-Link port, which automatically switches mode between 3 different protocols and offers connection to our Everything I/O ecosystem of expanders. There's also an I/O port, which allows the fitting of option cards, such as Dante, Waves, MADI, or a secondary S-Link port. And there's a built-in USB interface, which offers 32 by 32 channels at 48 or 96K, and can also be used for MIDI control of the console. Thanks for joining us to check out the SQ Plus series. If you have any further questions or want to find out more about any Allen Heath products, please contact your Sweetwater sales engineer.